Uh, enough. Yeah. Go look at your channel too. Ah, there we go. Never mind. I am trying to think if I need to make a new screen or not because I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna do desktop. I'm like, no, don't, because it's gonna be see everything. No, you're just gonna see all my different Discord channels. Well, I have a game. I have a game capture. Why is it not on? Oh, wrong game capture. Where is window capture? Hey, there we go. I just have it to so Shiny every once in a while when I'm doing mini painting, she'll be playing VR chat or something. I'm like, do I have that window set up? And I'm like, yes, I do, and it worked. So right now in the corner above me, there is Farsight, hero trader, shonen protagonist. It is no, no, that's what I'm saying. So when Shiny is doing her stuff on VR chat, she'll be in like a little corner where you can see what she's doing while I'm like painting minis or something. And I was just like, wait, let me see if I can reuse that. And I'm like, yes. To be fair, do you have? Oh wait, there's actually a really easy thing you can do. Let me just send you. I literally just had to change this because it was the wrong model for Twitch. Let me send you the group Fuji. So Fuji is what I use to make my really basic PNG models. So you can just put it as like a little overlay. That's just a little me will pop up in the corner. Hmm? Yeah, that should be it. Okay, let me pull up you on a different screen so I can make sure everything looks right.
It's so big.
Hi, welcome to a normal one of my streams where it's just scuff all the time. people wonder why I always have like weird stream schedules. Okay, why are you not popping up? There you are. I'm gonna be. Could just be browser. Considering what they've seen before over what's surprising. Not going into that conversation. Yeah, you just had to do a browser, but you're using Streamline. I love how on my side I just remembered I've got my music playing it. It's like lo-fi versions of Nintendo music. It's I purposely found I just realized I'm like, all right, I've got that playing. Are you? Uh, so to answer my check, if somebody's like, "What the hell was that sound?" Uh, I have a sound bit in my Discord server that people can play, and I forgot it was there. And Shiny likes to use it every once in a while. Yeah, I knew you were gonna do that. Rajanka. Yeah, I know, honey. We're streaming. Thank you. Let's see what I. Yeah, it should just be browser, but if it doesn't work, then it's fine. And he just pulled the. He just pulled the PNG up. Okay, that's weird. Oh, I'll show you how to fix it later, but yeah, we'll just leave that up for now. You can actually, if you add a browser option, it'll literally pop a little 3D me into Streamlabs, where I'll just be popping up in a corner where you put me. It shouldn't. No. That's the widget. That's what the icon looks like, but you can just literally put a browser in and that'll pop up. Yeah, that's why I was saying all it is just a browser. You just put that in a browser option and it'll pop up. And then you can resize me. Because if you look on my stream on Twitch, you're sitting on a couch. Your little icon's sitting on a couch right now. Yeah. Because I basically have it on my just chatting screen. Everybody appears on the couch next to me. Which is your. Yeah. We'll leave that up for now. just so people know what kind of VTuber you're working with. Hi, welcome to VTubers. Hi, welcome to VTubers. Literally, our streams are full of scuff.
There we go. No one could hear me. Holy shit. Sorry, chat. Hi, Ranger.
As long as I've done that was about 30 minutes. Until somebody finally said,
I've been using my Streamlabs to record game footage, so I mute myself when I'm doing that. Like a fucking tool. And I forget to turn it back on. Oops! I've been sitting here silent for like 10 minutes.
like I said, I did that for like 30 minutes to an hour before somebody finally said, "Hey, is your mic muted?"
Oh my god, I am. Ugh.
It was literally just a quick eye twitch, and I'm like,
Ah, bad day to be alive. All right, but hello, chat. How are all of you doing with your fucking lives and everything? Because I spent a good 5 hours researching and writing down everything that I needed to about the legendary Commander Farsight. I don't understand what makes him so far-sighted, as Tau suck at vision.
maybe it's the fact that he's got the sword. That's about the only thing I know he's got.
It's a sort. Do you want to know the thing that doesn't help you in close combat? Far-sightedness.
Uh,
It's okay. I've made my choice. I have made this bed. I choose to live in this bed.
Somebody just screwed with me, and I thought I just got raided.
No, it was someone popped in, made a noise, and left.
I know.
I
That's my raid sound, and I was like,
It's okay. I got plenty of new sounds on my Discord as well. Which again, if you are a true fan of Announcer of Games, you could go join my Discord. I have to probably refresh all those links.
I have had mine locked down for a bit. I need to start slowly unlocking it.
Yeah, same. We actually have a role on mine where you can't talk in the VC unless you've proven that you're a good bean.
Mine
So-
is so broke.
And we could take it away at any moment. Organized democracy.
Hey, it worked for Helldivers.
Yeah. 10 out of 10. The game is so good it gave us a mission in real life.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure what happened is Steam started going, "Hey, because you screwed over our fan base, we're going to start letting them get refunds like way after they should be allowed to."
We shouldn't call them fans. We should call them users. I'm not a fan of Steam. I'm a user of Steam.
Every once in a while, they pull something off. Well, we're selling. Hey, I don't mind supporting you, and then it's just like, but can you count to 3?
The tragedy. Yeah, like, don't you know the history of Half-Life? There's Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and Half-Life Alyx.
Sorry, you actually forgot a couple because you also forgot about the spin-off game where you played as the security guy.
Right, Barney. Dude, I love that episode of Barney where he has to go through Black Mesa.
And then I think there was another spin-off game that was like just like online mode or something like that.
Yeah, it was a fucking deathmatch or something, Half-Life Deathmatch.
And then Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
And the only reason we have Half-Life Alyx is because somebody leaked the original story for 3, so they have to retcon everything now.
Woo!
Actually, they reboot everything at this point.
And then we got like that spin-off to Portal, which was just a tech demo for the Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
That was good shit. Oh, the internet has been wild for the past few days. Actually, something I want to say quick. During that whole Helldivers debacle, a lot of Sony apologists came out, and I was arguing with one of them. And the one thing that you shouldn't say to me is, you could just buy a PS5. Hi,
You
Irvis.
got the money for it for me?
I literally responded, that doesn't solve the PSN problem. If the service is not available in your country, it doesn't matter if I have a PS5 or not.
And of course, their stupid reaction would be, well, you could use a VPN. Not on a PlayStation. Not very easily.
Nope, and you get banned for using a VPN on the Helldiver servers.
Mm-hmm.
So, like... I just wanted to say, you are coming from an extremely privileged position. Like, holy shit. But like literally
It's Sony
minutes,
fans
literally minutes after that argument started, Sony backpedaled, and I'm like, doesn't matter anymore. We won.
for now. Sony's like we can't figure out how to exploit you right now.
You're chat. If you don't know, PSN, well, PlayStation, well, Sony, fuck, they wanted they wanted you to have a PSN account to play in Helldivers, which at that point it's just fuck another subscription service I have to subscribe to. God damn it. The problem became that 177 countries could not play Helldivers. And wouldn't end well for 177 countries full of people. If you bought the game, fuck you, you can't play it. They have since walked back that stupid ass idea. Thank God. But yeah, that's what's been going on the internet for like the past 5 days.
See if there's any way we could somehow turn this into a conversation about Farsight, but I don't think there really is. I mean,
well, unity of purpose and a getting sick of your shit is very much a Farsight story. So, what do you actually know about Farsight?
Other than he is pretty much the other option you have if you want to run Tau, so that you don't have to run the water, fire, and all that cast stuff. It's like, I want to play the Tau because I really like mechs, but I don't like all that other stuff about the Tau.
So
Farsight.
Farsight and Shadow Sun, the two playable like main characters of the Tau Empire, they fill in two very different niches of the Tau playstyle. Farsight is the idea of the precision quick strike, like the quick jab to the throat, take out the target immediately, move on. Shadow Sun is the patient hunter. They are the person that like will hide in the bush with a box and a string. That's the best way to put it.
Picturing Kitten from TTS just walking by a box and her hiding in a bush now.
Yeah, and then there's the third one. There's the third one that everyone forgets about because they don't talk about him. But, you remember Fire Warrior?
Oh yeah, the one who literally is so angry that Chaos guys are scared of him.
Yeah, he's the playable character in the PlayStation game, and Dark Crusade is the third of their group. He is the he's supposed to be like the Sasuke of their group. It's great.
That's the funny thing. It's like there was a meme recently where somebody pointed him out and like how terrifying he is, and I'm like, okay, why didn't we get that in the game? That would have been cool, not the broken crap.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I'll bring him up in this because like he's a small thing. It's a small note, but it's like it's cool that like the character from Dark Crusade and Fire Warrior, even though Fire Warrior was a shit game, like he's still mentioned, and that's cool enough to me.
I said he's basically the Tao's equivalent to the Doom guy. He's just too angry.
He's too angry to die. Actually, his story is right now that he's fighting Death Guard somewhere in the Tau Empire. It's really scary. But yeah, Farsight! Woo! We'll get into this, and feel free to interrupt me with questions whenever you want.
The basic way I'm going to say I know what Farsight is, I know he's the opposite, he's the air quotes opposite to Shadow Sun, and he's got a big sword that's keeping him alive.
Yes, you've got the fundamentals down.
Yeah.
Farsight, listen, Horus was like 48 fucking pages. Farsight is so much easier, and I am so thankful you chose such an easy character.
Listen, it was going to be him or Gazgul, but I know enough about Gazgul that we just be making jokes the entire time.
What else is there to know about Gazgul? He's big, he likes to start shit, and he's funny. And he's got a cute little goblin buddy.
Who may or may not keep getting replaced, but we don't talk about that.
Listen, he sat on the first one. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that he sat on the second one.
It's what's the fucking Bolt Beholder's name from Waterdeep where they just keep replacing the goldfish?
Oh fuck! Shit! What's its name? What's his name? I need to look it up now. That shit is funny to me. I love Waterdeep. Waterdeep goldfish. Shit. Silgar. Silgar is his name.
Yeah.
I love Silgar. Silgar is great. Silgar makes me such a happy lad. But yeah, so Farsight. Hero, traitor, shonen protagonist. That traitor part, oh boy. Alright, so who the fuck is Commander Farsight? I need to move you down. There we go. There we go, you're in the corner.
Alright, fine.
Alright, so who is Commander Farsight? I apologize for the pronunciations. Tau speak is trash. Oshava, better known as Commander Farsight, was one of the 3 original heroes of the Tau Empire. He was one of the 3 students who were taught by the legendary Tau general, Commander Peertide, and he mastered the Tau's way of warfare called Mont Ka, a military strategy focused on a single killing blow strike on strategic targets. He was considered the best student Peertide ever had, and was the Tau's best general for years, till he learned some hard truths about the universe and his leaders. He is essentially like, this is verbatim a shonen protagonist.
I think this is probably where a lot of people get the anime meme from for the Tau.
Well,
because we could have that discussion on where actual anime characters are in 40k.
Yeah. Plus, it doesn't help that like a lot of the Tau were the Tau design-wise were fundamentally inspired by the anime age that was hitting Britain at the time when they came out.
Well, that's what's even funnier is, you want to know where the most anime... You want to know which group is the most anime?
Which one?
Eldar.
Oh!
Literally, their Eldars are powered by souls. Their mechs are powered by souls. Everything about the Eldar is anime. Literally, the original writer of the Eldar is like, oh yeah, Neon Genesis Evangelion, a bunch of other stuff inspired me to make
that makes
the Eldar.
sense.
They are more anime. So they are more anime than the actual Tau are. The Tau are just like... So, the Tau are, like, maybe Gundam at most.
Yeah, no, they're Gundam at most.
The Eldar are... Oh yeah, all the other weird anime stuff, that's the Eldar.
That explains so much about the Drukhari.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, most popular video on my channel right now is the Drukhari Army Guide. I don't know why.
I think I do remember partially watching that, or at least had it on at some point.
I think it had something to do with Lazy Town.
Probably.
Anyway, so his history. Farsight was a hot-headed prodigy, working his way up in the Tau Empire Firecast. He was popular with the troops, but his commanders would teach him humility and patience by putting him through simulations that traumatized the poor fuck. So in order to become a Tau commander in the field and pilot suits, you have to put into essentially a matrix simulation in a non-winnable scenario. And the idea is that you're supposed to die during it. And as Farsight described it in his book, it felt like he actually died. And
so it's basically taking the what is it called in Star Trek? Now I gotta Google something. The Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah.
It's the Kobayashi Maru, but like on steroids.
Yep. The point of the exercise is that you will have to accept death as an inevitable consequence of doing the job.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the Kobayashi Maru too. It's basically there are some scenarios where you cannot win.
Yeah. For those not of the anime partaking, it's the same kind of training scenario that Star Trek uses for their officers, that they have to accept that there's sometimes a non-winnable scenario. Unless you're Captain Kirk. In that case, fuck you, my shonen protagonist beats your shonen protagonist.
Quark's son.
Yeah!
But Quark's son won because he just confused the shit out of it. because it's like he basically did a trade deal where like everybody won, but also everybody lost.
But due to his actions within the simulation and on the battlefield, he would be taught by the legendary Commander Puretide, as I just mentioned before. We don't actually have a picture of Puretide. This is the best I could get. You got standard Commander suit.
Yeah.
Look at that old Farsight model.
Back when they were just like, we don't really know what to do, but it's going to look techie.
Yeah, it's gotta look techie. Farsight would be taught with his fellow aspiring commander, Shadow Sun and Shaso Kais, the guy from the games Fire Warrior, Dark Crusade, as I mentioned. These three would be legendary students through Puretide. Each student became masters of their preferred ways of warfare. Farsight would master Montka, but Shadow Sun and Kais would master Kayun and Monot, respectively. Monot is the lone hunter kind of way of thinking. It is essentially like the leader will go out and pathfind for the army itself, and then relay positions to them from that position. It's why he gets 2 drones, a shield one, and a gun one, and why he gets a stealth suit, because he's the one going out and pathfinding. That's why he gets all those abilities in Dark Crusade. It's really cool.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Once their training is done, each student is put into stasis and are only brought out during times of war.
Right, because I remember that about Shadow Sun. Is basically nobody's really quite sure if there's more than one of her running around or if it's just her keep getting frozen and brought back.
It is just her getting frozen over and over and over again. So the idea is that one of them would start out and then die of natural causes or die on the battlefield, and then they bring out the next one after that, and then the last one would come out with... It would basically repeat the process.
Mm-hmm.
3 great heroes, 3 great ages, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're first, big guy! Farsight was brought out of stasis first. It was given the job of leading the Tau Empire's 2nd sphere expansion. Do you know what that is?
I do remember the first sphere is basically just the initial like solar system or something like that, and then they just expanded out from there.
Hi, Super Gamma. Hi, Super Green. But yeah, you got the right idea. Each sphere expansion is essentially them colonizing worlds that are uninhabited or bringing worlds into the fold that willingly join them. Or sometimes by force.
It's the Tau.
It's the Tau. They're basically just futuristic Imperium at this point.
I was about to say, it's more their war-loving Star Trek.
Yeah. Here Farsight would come into the conflict with not only orcs, but the Imperium of Man. He proved to be an amazing commander during the conflict, known as the Damocles Gulf Crusade. The crusade would end in failure for the Imperium, but it was a horrific wake-up call to the Tau that the galaxy had other empires far stronger than them, and Farsight then spent his time picking up the pieces of the 2nd sphere expansion. So, like, I love the way that it's described within the fluff, that the Tau, like, the 1st sphere expansion met no resistance. Like, it was either easily swept aside resistance forces, or, like, everyone was singing Kumbaya. I really like that. And then they hit the wall that was the 2nd sphere expansion. And it was... Yeah, no, they got their shit pushed in so fucking hard by the Imperium. And the only reason the Imperium didn't steamroll them was because A, First Tyrannic War, and B, just the Tau learned that the Imperium supply train sucked ass, so they just took advantage of it. But it was, like, imagine, like, you go from... Yeah, we're the best to, oh god, they nearly got to our home. That does something to a population.
Yeah.
And even worse, Farsight had to spend his time not only, like, trying to figure out, okay, what colonies are still alive and what forces remain. He has to go back and essentially redo what he was doing for the 2nd sphere expansion, while picking up the pieces. It's a miserable nightmare for the poor fuck. Farsight's first few decades of command were, as I said, not good. The poor guy witnessed Tau worlds burn and learned that their enemy was a giant that they had to be careful around from now on, with how close the Imperium got to the Tau homeworld. I think the closest they got, from what I read, was that the Imperium was essentially across the pond from that point. That's how close they got. And, like, as I said, first Tyrannic War happened, everybody had to pull out and go deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, no, that was terrifying for them. He would grow a massive hate boner for the orcs, as the Greenskins took advantage of the Damocles Gulf Crusade by raiding and wiping out defenseless Tau colonies.
Probably the most orc thing I've heard. It's like, oh wait, there's an easy fight over here.
Dude, there's a good bit of scrap over here. I could take it. It was this very hatred that led Farsight to the world of Arthas Moloch, the world that would destroy his faith. So, originally... So, they actually retconned the fluff here. Oh my god, 40k retconning something? Originally, it was because he discovered, to his horror, that the Ethereals were putting Commander Puretide AI chips into up-and-coming commanders, and that's why he rebelled originally. But they since changed the fluff at the start of 8th edition.
I don't know what they changed it to, but yeah.
Oh, we're getting to it.
I'm sure.
I'm going to drag you over here now. Shrink you a little bit. There we go. All right. Arthas Moloch was a world that used to be controlled by the Alpha Legion. The Sons of the Emperor purged them, and the planet, 2,000 years before Farsight visited it. However, Chaos still had influence over the planet. Hi, Hooligan. Farsight and his expedition would come under attack by demons of Khorne. Tau were ignorant of what demons are and referred to them as aliens. I don't remember the name that Farsight gave them, but he does call them by a different species name. He never once calls them demons of Khorne. Because he doesn't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, because they barely have any... Well, now they do, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, at that point they had barely any connection to the warp. I do know that.
Yep. Farsight suspected something more, as the demons didn't work the same way other living beings did. When you read or listen to his books, there is a scene where one of his lieutenants is essentially like trying to stab a demon, and the demon like phases through his arm, and then tries to like ram him through with a hellblade. And he's just like, "What the fuck?" As he has to like roll out of his suit. It's really scary.
Yeah.
The expedition lost all of its spiritual leaders, called Ethereals, to their own stupidity in the situation. Farsight's faith in Ethereal leadership would be shattered with these losses. He essentially, like, while he's, like, hopping to and from the planet, the Ethereals among his fleet are just like, "Nah, we can reason with them!" And essentially he's just standing there like, I just witnessed these things tear a whole battalion apart by just standing there. What the fuck do you think is going to happen if you go down there? And the Ethereal takes that as...
Eldar with the Drukhari?
The Ethereal takes that as, "Are you insulting my bodyguards?" And Farsight just has to bite his tongue and go, "Fine, run off to your death." And this is the only picture we have of Arthas Moloch. It is a barren dust ball of a planet. They do eventually seal the demons in a massive portal, but Farsight does a fucking, what's that movie called again? Where everyone's like, oh, it's a 40k movie in all but name. Oh, what the fuck's that movie called? It's a horror movie.
God.
Event
Event Horizon.
Yeah. he essentially like looks in the Event Horizon portal, and what he saw in there haunts him for the rest of his days.
Hi, you stared into the void and you saw Zinch wink back.
I stared
Or
into the
Cord in
void
this
and
case.
I saw those three brothers from Dragon Ball GT, the Pora Pora brothers. During the war, though, he found a sword called the Dawn Blade. Hey, look, it's the sword that you talked about earlier.
Yeah. I knew it was a like warp thing that he had that was kind of keeping him alive.
Yeah. It easily cut down demons, and that's why he grabbed it. However, something weirder was that after the conflict, the aged Farsight, I think he was like, if we're gonna go by human terms, he was like in his late 50s, early 60s in comparison.
Yeah, because they age a little bit faster than humans, if I remember right.
Yeah. But during his medical examination, they found that he had gone back physically like 30 or 40 years. So like he was like a young man at that point, physically.
Mm-hmm.
He had no idea how this happened and just attributed it to the planet. But it was actually the Dawn Blade. For those that don't know, the Dawn Blade works as if it cuts somebody down, you get the life that they were supposed to live, essentially. So, like, if that person would live for another 15 years, if you didn't cut them down, you get that 15 years of life. And he was chopping down demons, so effectively, Farsight is immortal without knowing it.
Yep.
No, he's immortal from age. The fucker could still die.
Yeah. He's physically immortal, but doesn't mean... he's not physically... What would the term be? He's not a true immortal, but it's just one of those things where it's like, as long as he keeps fighting and winning.
Yeah, essentially. So...
It just means, like, since he's getting the attention of a certain god, I'm sure we're gonna get there.
Oh, well, we'll get there. By the way, he also has a... I couldn't write them down in here because I couldn't fit them in. But he has a group called the Eight, and they're 8 elite commanders within his forces.
And I think that's the ones that you always see in like his model lineup that they're supposed to be with him.
Yeah, they used to have a unit stat sheet. They were very specifically built. Crisis suits, a broadside, and a riptide.
Mm-hmm.
But the broadside's actually a robot, so that was really cool to learn.
To be fair, if all the groups do have robots, it's them in the Votan that don't surprise me.
Oh my god, hooligan. So take that sword and go Anakin Skywalker on some younglings. That's a little fucked, but yeah, you could do that.
I mean, considering I'm pretty sure I know who made this sword, and I'm sure we're gonna get there, that would be something he'd almost approve of as long as it's a fair fight.
What? The kid had a spear. It was a fair fight, says the hulking brute to the malnourished child. Alright. That was a lot to take in. Farsight, over the course of a couple of decades, gets a very hard lesson on a few things. One, the galaxy is not a place that makes sense, nor is it ready for the Tau belief of the greater good. So, essentially, the greater good is the Imperium. The best comparison is the Imperial truth. There is no such thing as gods, there is no such thing as magic, everything works on a scientific foundation. And everything...
It's one of the reasons why TTS jokes about how, if it wasn't for the fact they didn't like melee, they would be the perfect allies.
Exactly. So the Ethereals, like, indoctrinated the Tau into this belief and this way of thinking. So, imagine your surprise when you think, like, up is up, down is down, and then you fight orcs, down is left, up is right.
And somehow my suit moves faster.
Or you're fighting the Imperium, and you're talking to these people who have been using their ships for fucking decades, and then you ask, how does this work? And they go, I don't know, it's magic.
I don't know, go ask the guy with the weird toaster for a face.
And then the weird toaster for a face, and then the weird toaster for a face tells you, "Oh, I just hold this thing up to it and swing it a little bit, and then I say some words, and then it starts working again."
Or we just make a chicken walker walk on a treadmill to keep it powered.
Yeah, so like logic is not logicking.
Mm-hmm.
They like it's really shaking them at this point. The Ethereals were not all-knowing leaders. They made the Tau people believe, and were actually quite ignorant and inept on a lot of stuff. I.e., are you insulting my bodyguard? No, I'm not, but please, go try to reason with the angry thing I just witnessed eat my friends alive for 20 minutes. That should jog your memory real fucking quick.
Yeah.
Not only that, they would lie and cover up anything they deemed problematic to the greater good belief system. Because, you know, when you have a concrete foundation of something, the best thing that you can do is lie when it's proven wrong. So yeah, like, there is, like, tons of extra material within Tau books, where if the Tau confront something that is extremely uncomfortable and shakes their belief, the Ethereals just send all those people to die and then just cover up the whole situation. And no one questions it.
Which has now led to them potentially now having a god. Unintentionally.
Yes. They don't like that. They don't like that, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
Now, again, like I said, this was a retcon, because originally it was the pure tide chips that broke the camel's back, but here it was Mullock that broke the camel's back. He began...
To be fair, that does kind of fit more than it's like, oh, hey, you're using AI chips with my friend. Now it's like, oh, I just saw literally everything was a lie.
Yeah, he began to question and look deeper. Farsight began to question and look deeper into the ethereal leadership and a lot of their history, and the answers that he found had him choose exile. No, yeah. This is a self-imposed exile. He was not actually exiled.
Yeah.
So, what the fuck, essentially? Farsight learned that the Ethereals have some sort of power over the regular Tau people. This helped Farsight understand why many commanders and individuals would do horrifically stupid things after meeting with the Ethereals. Like I said, it's just like they would convince a group to go die off in a corner and no one would question it.
So there's also the whole pheromone thing, unless that's been retconned.
Yeah, we don't know if the pheromone thing is true. It is heavily implied to be some sort of psychic connection. We don't know.
Honestly, from what I've heard, it only works on Tau anyway, because other humans and humans and stuff that have joined the Tau have kind of been like, this seems really stupid.
Yeah, I believe in 40K, it is like, why would you ever join the Tau? I don't know. They give me drinking water.
They give me drinkable water and they give me clean water and edible food.
And, like, I feel like I'm actually working towards something instead of slaving away at a factory.
Where a gun literally costs more than my entire family.
Yeah. So, like, it's a lot of that. A lot of people tend to misunderstand, like, not a lot of humans do believe in the greater good. They're just like, oh, sick, I don't have to fucking eat shit bars anymore? Where do I sign up?
Yeah, from what a lot of people, from what I remember reading a lot about that side of stuff, they still let the humans, like, preach the imperial truth. It's just like, hey, as long as you're helping with the greater good, we don't care what you're preaching.
Yeah, it's very much
as
like...
the ethereals touch their nose, going, yeah, we don't care.
Yeah, it's very much, that's more of a thing on the frontier planets, but when you're inside when you're inside the main empire, they are very much like, don't ask, don't tell.
Pretty much.
But, however, instead of just dumping this information out to everyone like Rorschach does in fucking Watchmen, Farsight didn't want the Tau people to suffer and fall into civil war with this knowledge. So he chose to exile himself and help pick up the pieces of the Second Spear expansion, renaming it the Farsight Enclaves. Hi, John. So, like, this is one thing that I've noticed when I've researched Farsight and looked into his stories a bit more. He chose to withhold this information from the Empire as a whole. Because a lot of people would go, oh, he's just like, he's scared. No, he is painfully aware of what this will do. He does not want his people to suffer, and he is actually extremely uncomfortable with the idea of Tau-on-Tau violence. It doesn't mean he won't do it, it's just, he would avoid it at all costs if he can, and I really like that.
That's kind of why a lot of people have jokingly said of all the quote unquote of all the characters you could say is potentially a good guy in 40k, it's probably him.
Yeah, like I still point out to people like Farsight still falls within the problematic views of, well, he's kind of a racist dickhead, but in 40k who isn't.
Yeah, that's why I say quote unquote he's probably the closest thing to a good guy.
Yeah. Learning of this betrayal, the Tau's Pope, the supreme ethereal leader, Anva, declares Farsight and all who follow him traitors to the Empire to be shot on sight.
Which the fact that he went into, it's the fact that he's not even like throwing you under the bus and you still do that to him.
Yeah, it's originally it was they didn't know what happened to him. He just went quiet, and then they suddenly see Farsight pop up again with all these different enclaves following him, and it was just like this uncomfortable question of what the fuck happened. But now it's been retconned to be, nah, kill the fucker on sight, fucking arbiter his ass, I don't give a shit. Shadow Sun, you're my Tartarus now from Halo 2. Farsight.
What's going on?
Hi, we're talking Farsight tonight.
I
don't know what that is.
40k stuff.
40k.
He's a person.
You ever want Gundam with swords, but on ground and in sky?
Oh, sorry, I know what 40k is.
I should have had him join from the beginning. So to quickly re-sum up, Tau are basically Star Trek meet a few other things in 40k with mechs. Farsight. I'm trying to think of a quick summary way without going back through everything
if you want a good character comparison, he's like the Naruto mixed with Obi-Wan of the setting. That is the best way to sum him up.
And we're just discussing about him right now.
Yeah, it's part of a thing that I wanted to do, is that people who have questions about Warhammer 40k, I bring them on stream and I answer these questions. Or if it's like a topic I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about it.
Like I said, to be fair, I was like, okay, of all things, it's like, I kind of know enough about him. It's like, I'll ask about this guy, because it's like, well, okay, I know enough to where it's like, oh, hey, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my other friend, Lasgar, he asked about Earth, and I'm like, oh, God. Oh, he's not going to like this one.
He asked about Earth?
He asked about Terra, like, what's Terra's history? How's Earth doing? And I'm like...
basically, up until a certain point, we know that it was like, maybe like Star Trek, and then everything fell apart.
Oh, boy!
And then Big E decided to show up and go, I can fix this.
Well, first it was like Star Trek, and then it became Mad Max, and then the Emperor showed up and said, let's turn the entire planet into Coruscant.
Well, actually, no, he just basically said, hey, I really like this book by a guy named Frank Herbert. Because literally almost everything he did is basically what Leto does.
Okay, but like, Farsight as a person. Farsight is best described as the optimistic shonen protagonist made into a realist. He sees the horrors of the 40k universe, and his worldview is shattered. Instead of lashing out and doing what Horus did, driving the Empire to a civil war, he chose to be constructive and proactive in rebuilding the Second Sphere expansion as its own separate government so that the Tau people could lead themselves. Now, there is a bit of a problem with that, because it is stated, like, he is the leader of the Enclaves. He is, like, their military president, kind of a thing. Like, he's their dictator. But he has a ruling council of the 8 to help keep him in check. And essentially, like, the 8 go out, learn, like, what the Enclaves need and want. They come back, they tell him, and then he distributes resources as needed. And apparently it works. It just works.
To be fair, that weirdly does sound like it would work. It's like, hey, all I'm really good at is fighting. I'm going to send these 8 guys out who probably are going to know more than I will in some way, shape, or form. Have them come back and be like, okay,
yeah,
do this.
The cool thing is that, like, the 8 is made up of members of all the different castes. So, like, you got, like, a water caste guy in there, who's usually, like, the diplomats of the Tau Empire. You got the Earth caste guys who are, like, the dwarves of the Tau. They're the engineers and shit. You got the air caste. Well, I said water caste for the diplomats, right?
Yeah.
Alright. You got the air caste, who's, like, the flyboys and such. And then you got the fire caste, who are the soldiers. He's got, like, a mix of them within the 8. And, fun fact, the Earth caste guy drives the Riptide. They gave him the Big Mac.
Wait.
Oh, that Jabito?
Guys, have a good night.
You have a good night, too. This shows Farsight is a good person deep down, and that he prioritizes his people's safety over his need for justice and truth. He knows this information would only lead to more pointless death, so he chose the least bloody path and just letting people choose. Granted, he does tell his officers about this, so that way they can better coordinate with him in their new government. It is made clear in the Farsight books, especially in Arcs of Omen, which was the last 40k event, that he has informed the 8 at least about why he is doing what he is doing and what the hell happened. So,
I was about to say, yeah, there'd have to be a certain point where you'd have to tell at least them.
Yeah, so as far as I'm aware, he's told them. I don't know if he's told anyone else. It is made clear, though, that the regular rank and file and civilians don't know.
Which, to be fair, from the perspective of him coming from what he came from, to being like, oh, yeah, I need to let the Tau choose on their own who to follow.
Yeah.
It's almost what it feels like.
This actually gets really frustrating when you read it.
Yeah.
Not only that, but Farsight isn't comfortable fighting Tau forces. He usually leads his forces to not engage, if not outright avoid, the Empire's military. He wants to avoid bloodshed between his people as much as possible. He will also help the Empire's people if he sees they are at risk of being wiped out. During the Imperium's second attempt of a Damocles Gulf Crusade, Farsight and his forces helped repel Imperial forces to give a now-returned Shadow Sun's forces a reprieve, even though he knows Shadow Sun and her forces will fire on him when he does so. I actually own the book where that happens, and the White Scars and the Raven Guard are pushing her shit in, and she is saved by a fraction of a hair by Farsight, like, deflecting a blow away from her. And she starts immediately bitching him out. And he goes, yeah, well, I just saved your ungrateful ass, so bite me.
Pretty sure it wasn't exactly what he said, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Yeah, the bite me is implied.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, that he is willing to protect Shadow Sun, and that
he was trained with her, so if he's definitely willing to protect any of the Tau, it's going to be her. And
yeah, because, like, they studied together, they were best friends, and then just, like, she wakes up and is told by the Tau leadership, yeah, so you know your best friend, he's a traitorous son of a bitch. He betrayed everything we stand for. and that's all she's been told, and then that's like the first conversation they have in years.
And of course, he can't tell her, or doesn't. He probably wants to tell her, but he's like, if I do, she's going to turn around and start shit.
Why the fuck would she believe him?
I know, that's the problem.
Yeah. He is put into an impossible position by going down this path. He has to be patient and sit with the knowledge that his people are no better than slaves to the ethereals, but still wants to help them in any way he can. He does convince some to join him, but others still want his head on a pike. Shadowsun, worst of all, who was his best friend, as I said. There is a scene in one of the codexes where after she's told all this information, she goes outside and slags his statue. Like, straight up takes her fusion blasters and melts the statue. It is absolutely fucked and depressing to read.
Yeah.
Alright, now, I have seen a lot of people argue this, and I did need to bring this up. Is Farsight a coward for choosing the path that he did? I asked my wife the same question after letting her read through all this, and she went, no, he's a golden retriever himbo.
But say it's less of a himbo thing and more of a, hey, let's go look into some of the history of the Imperium. Oh god, they had something similar happen. We should probably not do the same thing. Is what I feel like. He probably looked at everybody else and went, let's do something different. And see what happens.
So, after reading everything, I came to the conclusion that he's not a coward, but he is choosing the path of least resistance, trying to spare his people suffering, only to ironically cause that suffering by making those who follow him enemies of the state. Again, he is trying to find practical solutions for an impractical problem. If it means Tau blood has to be spilled to accomplish Tau freedom, he is not willing to do it.
What'll probably happen soon if they start actually doing something with the Tau.
Oh, Arcs of Omen sets that up pretty nicely if they continue down that plot line.
What I was about to say is I feel like it's going to be one of those things where he's going to be forced to actually have to do something soon.
Oh, trust me. We'll get there.
Alright.
Speaking of, Arcs of Omen! Man, it's like I timed this shit.
It's almost like you planned this out.
Yeah. So what the fuck is going on with Farsight in the modern day? You gotta remember, Arcs of Omen was the most recent event that happened in 40k. That is what led us to 10th edition, and essentially everything happening from 9th edition to 10th edition are happening within either hours or months of each other. So,
that's how most of the codexes go anyway.
Yeah. We catch up with Farsight and his enclaves during the events of Arcs of Omen, a galaxy-wide event where Abaddon and the new kid on the Black Vestor, the Archithane, are trying to find artifacts across the galaxy to rebuild a MacGuffin. This plan leads to Abby's Alpha Legion allies using an Orc Law to distract Farsight and his forces while they search for the artifact of the week. Arcs of Omen in a quick tangent. 3 of the books are plot relevant. 2 of the books are not. Farsight's book is not plot relevant. It is the Alpha Legion, by halfway through this book, steal the artifact they need and then fuck off. They're essentially a non-entity throughout the entire event. It's kind of weird that Arc of Omen's Farsight is an Arc of Omen's book.
My best guess is they were just like, we don't know where the hell to put it because it has some stuff that involves Arcs of Omen, but we can't say it's not an Arcs of Omen book.
Yeah, it doesn't even, even the thing they steal doesn't really tie in with, what the fuck happens, so I'm just
that's what makes me wonder if it was supposed to be something else, and they're just like, how can we make sure it sells?
Yeah, and canonically...
Say it's an Arc of Omen book.
And canonically, this is how Farsight looks. That is Farsight on the cover. So, have fun with the Xbox 360 disc sliding area.
I was about to say, yeah, the female Tau have the Y on their forehead, males have the single slot, the single thing.
I made that joke to my wife, and she said, I just heard the sound, like the disc insert sound. All right.
The problem is TTS pops in my head, and it's like, my forehead keeps hurting.
So, Farsight is aware of the Chaos threat at this point. He's encountered them enough to know, okay, something's fucky. Like, these Gwaela are very different from the Imperium. And you could go, really? What tipped you off? Was it the spikes or the fact they're wearing human flesh? And then someone else in the corner responds, the Imperium does that too.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that one's written in High Gothic, the other one's written in Demon.
Pretty much.
He is aware of what's happening. He is aware that Chaos is fucking with the Enclaves. And so he actually does a very good strategic idea. He pits the law against Chaos fleets wherever he goes, and essentially kills the winner of those engagements because they're weak enough for his forces to succeed over. Problem is, the strategy is only effective short term because he has to keep luring them away from the Enclaves, which is his supply network.
Yeah.
And he's fucked at this point because he's so far away he can't resupply.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's clever if you can keep it up, but yeah.
So he has no good options left, and so he's nearby Arthas Mullick, and he remembers, okay, that planet had all those angry aliens on it that we sealed away. If worse comes to worse, I can use those. But he is also painfully aware of what will happen if he fails, so he sends a message out to the Tau Empire, basically saying, listen, if you come and help me and my men, and you protect the Enclaves, I will surrender. I will surrender myself to the Ethereal Authority, and I will happily go to jail. He is actually willing to put everything on the line to protect his people.
To be fair, he's shown that time and time again. That is kind of his thing at this point.
Yeah, and he's pushed back to the brink, so this is literally him being desperate. But, like, the fact that he's even willing to consider, I am willing to put my own pride and beliefs aside to protect my people is a good thing.
Yeah.
Fuck you! Skulls for the cornflakes. Yeah, so, returning to Arthos, the Enclave forces are pressed on all sides, with Farsight having to fill gaps in the lines of his always retreating forces. The stress of the situation only gets worse and worse, and his anger and rage start to boil over. At some points, Farsight is so angry and frustrated with the amount of distress calls he has to respond to, he is drenched in blood and starts having visions of the blood god smiling down on him and his slaughter, only for him to snap out of it when he has the stray thought of abandoning his soldiers, who in a moment of total anger, he thought they were weak. He is horrified by that stray thought and redoubles his efforts to helping where he is needed.
You looked at Korn, almost agreed with him, and then went, wait a minute, that's not me.
Yeah, and when you read the Arcs of Omen book, he is getting bombarded in both ears about, like, oh god, they're everywhere. And he's sleep deprived, he's angry, he hasn't heard anything back from the Tau, it's an impossible situation, and, like, that one moment he feels like the need to cut off the guy right beside him's head, because it's just like, stop yelling at me, you fucking worthless, pathetic fool. And he's just like, before he even says that, he's just like, what the fuck was that? And like, he's getting bombarded with visions of him holding an axe and like a skull necklace around his neck. And like, he's standing before the blood god. And it's just, oh, it's haunting. It's a haunting image for him. And it's actually done very good in the Arcs of Omen book.
So to be fair, they've been setting up Tau having influence in getting some influence in the warp for a while. So the fact that Korn basically just leaned in and went, "Come on, you know you wanna."
Yeah, it as well. The Arcs of Omen book makes it very clear that just like Karn and Angron before Farsight, Korn has marked Farsight as a potential champion.
Well, the fact that I think but saying, unless we have been told where the sword came from, I'm pretty sure it's been rumored that it was Korn who made it.
Yeah, we have no idea where the sword of the sword of Dawn came from. My god. But like, it is very clear that it is an artifact of chaos, and the fact that like being put in this very stressful situation, Farsight is at risk of coordinate corruption. And the fact that like it took him thinking like, my men are weak, to snap him out of it, and he's just like, where the fuck did that come from? And you just hear Korn like snapping his fingers like Swiper the Fox from Dora the Explorer. He's just like, darn.
Let's say, to be fair, Korn, if anything, was not upset at that. He was just like, different strategy.
Bashing the skull in didn't work. Maybe if I chop it.
Hey, I was about to say, to be fair, the one time when he showed Angron how he sees the universe, and it's like, wait, you see everything peacefully?
It's just pyrovision.
That's pretty much how it kind of was described, almost, if I remember right. Where basically, when he saw the universe through Korn's eyes, everything was at peace.
Oh my god.
and it put his mind at ease for like the first time in centuries.
And then immediately snap back to reality. It's like, ah!
Yep. Pretty much.
Alright. Hooray! It's the Catholic Church! Ah, fuck, it's the Catholic Church.
Catholic Church.
A Tau fleet does arrive over Moloch, only to tell Farsight and his forces to die in a hole for abandoning the greater good. Farsight is deep in enemy territory with an endless orc wall, pressing him on all positions, and the forces of chaos taking advantage of the chaos and getting away with the artifact of the week. Farsight makes the difficult decision to reopen the portal he sealed years ago, destroying the portal gate and freeing the demons trapped inside. The ensuing wave of Korn demons destroys the wall and gives room for Farsight to evac his troops safely off the planet, ending the wall threat to the enclaves, as well as destroying the portal and freeing the demons. Also began to heal Moloch. Somehow. Yeah, so like, this is where Farsight goes, yeah, no, fuck the Empire. They are pieces of garbage.
There's a certain point where you just have to go,
Yeah, like, we do get, like, the incredible moment where he's told, fuck off and die by Anva. And he realizes, oh, this was never about me. This was never about what I was doing. It's about the fact that I did something that questions your authority. It's the statement, not the person.
Yeah. So to be fair, if anything, they probably came there just to make sure he did die.
Yeah, no, like the fleet was stationed there to record him being murdered. And would like praise it as, watch this failure die, kind of a thing. Which is horrifically fucked up.
But pretty normal for the Tau, considering.
Pretty normal. You think they would sell action figures of it?
Probably.
It is confirmed that the Tau do sell their own Gunplas.
The running joke of a lot of fan art is that it could be canon.
Yep.
Tau propaganda. Nothing
Yes, of
surprises
course
me.
of course Tau women have massive mommy milkers. What are you talking about?
Don't worry about the hooves.
Don't worry about don't worry about the hooves. Embrace the hooves. Step on me, Shadow Sun mommy. That's cursed.
You had to say it.
I had to say it.
I could have just left it the hooves and be like, wait, what hooves?
Objection. Heresy. Objection. I'm in control of the stream. The inquisitorial agent is speaking. I decide what's heresy in this room or not. And
The Tau have their mommy milkers. Now the Imperium does. We can all be happy now.
Yeah, we got different flavors of mommy milkers, guys. We got Sisters of Battle, we got Guardsmen, we got you got them in the gold favorite, the Custodes. You got your steampunk engineer mommies. What's not to love?
And now the VTubing side of things comes out.
I want a VTuber Mechanicus girl, VTuber Sister of Battle, VTuber Imperial Guard.
Actually, I do know a Sister of Battle VTuber. She has enough stuff to where you know she's a Sister of Battle without getting in trouble with GW.
Yes.
I've seen a male tech priest. I have yet to surprisingly see a female tech priest, and that surprises me because that is such a niche market you could jump on.
Hooligan says, objection, horny on main. Sustained. This is horny on main posting.
You're talking to a VTuber. Somehow it's always going to turn into this.
Exactly, and you're talking
Even if we
to a
don't
degenerate.
intentionally. Do you see my PNG model that is right there in the corner?
We have a demon here, guys. Like, we're not questioning this. It's horny on main.
Okay, the minute I say my Twitter, everybody's gonna go look and go, never mind, I'm not following.
I followed you.
I know. I think you followed me on TikTok first. Oh no, I said the bad word.
Yeah, TikTok's not a bad word. I just.
Yeah, no, it's a joke about saying TikTok on Twitch.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. No peace, only war. Sure, and I am in Boss's server, so I should know better. Yeah, like, Hooligan, how often have I thirsted over women in our server? I have thirsted over my wife. I have thirsted over many an anime character. We even had a stream talking about fucking how much we appreciate and thirst over women. Hourly. Damn right it's hourly. We appreciate the women.
I could almost be tempted to invite you to a Blue Twitch stream where we do a review of a certain encyclopedia.
Oh, I already did a Monster Musume tier list. Don't try me.
No. I mean the actual encyclopedia.
Oh, I know. We had it brought up on like not directly on the screen, but we had it on the standby.
Well, because Mom Musume is the we can talk about it
yeah
version of that book.
Fucking I should really redo that list because I should just go with like everything is an adult size and can consent. Because
I was about to say, almost everything in that book can pass the Harkness test.
Yeah.
If it can't, we don't talk about it.
Yeah. So like I should have just like not listened. I should have just like listened to the monster description, like what the mythology was, not just the Monster Musume fucking description.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck did we get on this when we're talking about Farsight?
We made the joke about Tau propaganda.
Fair. So, this event builds more and more that Farsight is the Tau Empire's Horus Lupercal. Not only that, Farsight has been marked for glory by the Blood God. But we also see that when push comes to shove, Farsight will always choose his people. He was willing to hand himself over to the Empire if it meant the Enclaves would be saved. He was willing to sacrifice himself for the good of his people, only to be proven more correct that the Empire is led by a clearly evil government. The Tau...
Oh no, in 40k?
My god, bad guys in Warhammer? Perish the thought. The Tau, ironically, are mirroring the Imperium. They have fallen into purity politics, and the Ethereals could have ended the problem if they got over themselves. But they only proceeded to justify the Enclave's decisions with their actions. Like, guys, gals, non-binary pals, how fucking stupid do you have to be to say, nah, get fucked, idiot, when the guy who is single-handedly able to disprove not only your way of thinking but life has said, please, for the love of God, I am willing to get on my hands and knees, beg for your forgiveness on public television if you just protect my people. Like, to any dictator, to any evil government, that would be a slam dunk PR win. And then here comes Unva, the fucking robot, going, beep boop, get fucked, idiot.
Forgot he is a robot body now.
Yeah, he's an AI.
Yeah.
He's a Cortana. It's great. Can't buy his model anymore. Can't play him in New Tau, but whatever.
And that just means they're going to come out with a new one sooner or later. Just don't know when.
Nah, I'm fine with him being gone. Fuck Unva.
Oh, I'm perfectly fine with it too. I'm like, yeah, he'll come back eventually.
But if we lose Unva, can we get Abstral Vect back, please? I want my barge of fucking slave women.
Slave women who are on par with fucking Lilith.
Yes.
Combat wise.
Yes. Give it. I want Vect sitting on his fucking pimp chair. And
There's
riding around
rumors
on a
that
boat.
they want to make a new one, but we'll probably won't get it till right before the end of 10th if it is coming out soon.
I want it so bad. I need it.
Listen, we need to have an equal sitting on a throne for against the Silent King. To be fair, if we get a Trazen model, it's going to be him sitting on a throne too.
I want it so fucking badly. The Tau. Wait, yeah. So fuck. Moving on. Next slide. Farsight's themes. Farsight is a practical realist and the representations of the problems that come with that belief system in 40K. Not only that, but he is an interesting experiment to show the failures of the Tau Empire. The poor guy understands that the galaxy is a messed up place, that makes no sense, but is trying to be practical in an impractical galaxy. Whenever someone tries to tell you there is logic and rules to Warhammer 40K, they're fucking lying to you. There is no rules and logic to 40K. And the reason being is, A, the screaming mushroom men that change reality by existing.
And then Tzeentch just deciding to sneeze, and all of a sudden the two-headed bird person is next to him.
And speaking of Trazen the Infinite, Trazen runs around with a fucking coat full of Pokeballs just ready to throw at people. And then his rival has a goddamn time machine on standby.
To be fair, he can only do like 10 minutes, but still.
It doesn't matter.
I know.
Fucker's got a time machine. I still found that
only
funny.
The only orc who has the ability to... the only person who has ever traveled further back than anyone else in time is the one orc who shot himself just to have two of his own gun.
Exactly. Listen, the best part about, like, Oricon and Trazen is just when they're in court and they have, like, 10 Chronomancers sitting off on the side there. It's like, did you just time travel? No. Looks at the Chronomancers. First one looks up. He did. When? 5 minutes ago. What he tried to do? He tried to fuck with a thing going on over in sector whatever it's fuck to try and lure our attention away from this.
To be fair, there are two... that's a whole other book we could be talking about, because that's a great book to talk about.
I'm listening to it. I'm listening to it right now.
There are two ways to interpret their entire relationship. They're either Statler and Waldorf, or they're an old gay couple who doesn't want to admit they're not broken up.
Oh, I prefer to admit that they're the broken gay couple.
They're the gay couple who doesn't want to admit they're not broken up. Because good God.
My dear colleague, I brought 5. Farsight is learning the hard way that the only way he is going to free his people is by doing the one thing 40k loves: war and bloodshed. You are not going to get anywhere in 40k by being a pacifist. And to set that fucking
We return back to the shonen protagonist.
he's a hero who can't be the hero.
Mm-hmm.
Farsight in any other universe would be the hero of the story, and the universe would bend over backwards to prove him right. He is the shonen protagonist of 40k, but therein lies the problem that 40k is a universe that makes shonen protagonists Swiss cheese in a minute. Every fucking time someone in 40k has tried to be the hero gets immediately shut down. Whether it be like politics of someone stabbing them in the back, or just, you know, Karanak coming out of the warp and eating your ass.
That's the only one who's been allowed to be a hero is the one person who doesn't want to be it, and he hates it right now.
Robo Gulliman?
Yeah.
My boy, my lad, the sexiest man on earth?
Or him, what the hell is his, head guy's name, and...
there's...
the big fist dude.
Marnius Calgar.
And, Caiaphas Cain, they're all sitting in a room right now just going, Mood Kindreds.
Mood Kindred. Actually, a funny thing. So Takahata 101. He played Caiaphas Cain, but he also played Abaddon, which made it even funnier.
He's also played... Crap, he's played like a bunch of characters.
He's also Santodes.
Yeah. He's got a long list of characters he's played in TTS, but just... Mood Kindred.
Can you explain Requisition Resource to me again? No. Oh.
No.
No matter how noble his beliefs are, how noble the goal is, or how practical the solution, 40k will constantly beat Farsight down. The Enclaves are seen as traitors and heretics by the Tau Empire proper. The Imperium doesn't care about how practical his diplomacy is, as they want to kill him for being an alien. The other alien races are either fucked in their own respective way, or are orcs, and Chaos will always choose to fuck with him and his Enclaves till they are spent or turned to their service. He has tried on many occasions to be like, listen, guys, gals of the galaxy, please, there are bigger threats to handle. And then all of them say like, cool story, bro, I got my own shit going on, so go fuck yourself. Or, how about I show you the business end of this flamethrower, and then if you live through that, we can talk.
Who I feel would be the one person who would probably come to him and be like, good God, finally somebody will listen. The fucking Silent King, because he's been sort of trying to do that.
The Silent King has his own shit going on.
He's got his own shit, but it's like, he's worked with the Imperium a couple of times now, like, on, like, just... I think there was he worked with the...
He worked with the
Blood Angels.
Yeah, he worked with the
He worked with the Blood Angels and a couple of others, I remember that. But basically, he told the Blood Angels, it's like, I wish I could have met your Primarch, because he was somebody who was of honor, and it's like...
Oh.
They're like, wait, what?
Yeah, his entire switch has flipped on humanity. He went from, yeah, no, I think Sanguinius would be a nice guy, and now he's just like, I'm gonna enslave the human fucking race with all these Blackstone pylons. Because, fuck, you're all useless gnats.
To be fair, he sees the potential of some of them, but it's just like, good God, you're all useless.
Yeah. Oh, God, I can't wait to talk about that. Fucking, what's it called? Pariah Nexus.
Mm-hmm. As we were saying, though, with Farsight.
Yeah, like, in any other story or any other universe, Farsight is very much clearly the good guy. Like, he is the Naruto Uzumaki of fucking 40k. And, like, any other story, bend over backwards, prove him right, he is the good guy, he is the lad, he is absolutely right. 40k has no right answer, go fuck yourself.
To be fair, before the Tower retconned, he would have been a good guy.
Yeah. Though there is something very interesting that I have read when it came to Farsight.
Mm-hmm.
He is the only character that has consciously chosen to ignore chaos corruption. Like, one of the very few to choose to ignore it and never be corrupted by it. He proves a few things, that even in 40k, you do have a choice. No matter what happens, Farsight is the one to choose his path. He was horrified by the coordinate thought process and resisted it, deciding it was wrong and pushed forward, not letting the stress get to him. He chose to exile himself from the Empire to try to not cause problems, and when push came to shove, he chose to turn himself in if it meant that the Enclaves could be saved. Even if it blew up in his face, his choices were his and his alone to make. There's a lot in 40k where it's this character was destined for this, like they were destined to die or fail or whatever. Farsight is the best example of someone so far in the 40k fluff who is not that. He continues to choose his own path forward. And I found that really fascinating when, like, I was going through this thought process that he chooses to, like, not be a Horus. He chooses to wield the Dawnblade. He chooses all these different things, and when he learns stuff, he actually sits down to learn it and understand it, which is a lot more than a lot of 40k characters get. And
Yeah.
he makes educated decisions when he can. But at the same time, like, a lot of people are like, oh, his fate is to die, or like his fate is to fall to Khorne. But again, Arcs of Omen showed that he could have fallen, but he didn't.
I think unfortunately, I think I know what his fate is. He's Sisyphus.
Oh yeah, he's endlessly rolling the boulder up the hill like with Gulliman.
Yeah. He is the Sisyphus of, well, he's the Gilliman of Tau. It's like, he sees the problem, knows he can fix it, but will never be able to do it.
Yeah. I won't give up is Farsight. He's a tragedy. Much like Horus. However, unlike Horus, Farsight is choosing to spare his race as much suffering as possible, while the Empire is just proving him more correct in leaving it. He isn't in it for the glory or success, he is in it for his people's survival and freedom. With the Arc of Omen event being over and Farsight seeing that it was never about him, it was about what the Enclaves represent, we might see him come to the conclusion that fighting is the best way forward against the Ethereals. But hopefully, he keeps to his code and chooses to find a way to fight the Ethereals by other means.
See, the thing is, I feel like if he's going to fight them, he's going to have to use their own logic against them.
Yeah.
He can't fight them one-on-one, because it's like, that will just, nobody's winning that.
Yeah.
But if he can find a way to basically make the Ethereals destroy themselves.
Yeah, it's just trying to find that chink in the armor.
Mm-hmm. Having them basically say something that just makes all the Tau, when they say it openly, go, wait a minute.
Wait a second. What do you mean Taco Tuesday is on Friday?
It'll have to be something like that, where it's just like, they all have that immediate just, Star-Lord, what moment with the dolly zoom.
Oh god, I'm just remembering that whole quote though from TTS. Magnus, do you consume the taco on the Tuesday or the Friday? Taco Tuesday is on Friday. Fuck you, turn the stream off now. The power of Coas prevails. Also, Super Green, I see your post here. We are definitely green skin lovers in this household. They were my first 40k army.
Same.
Yeah.
My first army in, technically it's Goths, but they're just kind of a weird amalgamation of just any orc that looks fun.
I am strictly Goth clan, toughest orcs around.
Well, I started as Goths, but I have a box of Beast Riders. Because I can never say it right without sounding weird.
Listen, my orcs can take a pounding from behind. They're tough like that.
phrasing.
I chose that phrasing purposely.
No.
All right, Farsight overall. Farsight is a tragic hero of 40k. He wants to do as much good as possible for his people in a universe that will inevitably kill him or make him into something far worse. However, with how he's being written, he will choose to die before he becomes the latter option, proving that everyone in 40k isn't bound by fate and that you have a choice. An example that someone in the grim darkness of the grim dark universe can still be a good person deep down. Again, he does have like he does have like his grimdark tendencies. He does have that, but like they're few and far between, and really it just comes down to, well, everyone else is doing it.
But to be fair, in a grimdark story, because technically, crap, how did I just forget that YouTube channel's name? Overly Sarcastic Productions.
Yeah, OSP.
When she talked about grimdark, you need a good guy character to make the grimdark darker.
Yeah, and
if not, it's just grimdark for the sake of being grimdark.
Yeah, Farsight is the best version of how you can have a good guy in 40k while still being 40k. He's still like he fucking hates orcs. He is an absolute racist fuck when it comes to orcs.
To be fair, it's orcs.
Like, can you blame him? Fucking orcs, dude. They're on the grass.
Orcs hate orcs.
And
it's just groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah. God damn those orcs. They've ruined everything. Just like no, fuck. Orcs and Tau is a natural thing in life. Just like Tau versus Imperials. Tau versus Eldar. Tau versus Tau. You Tau are a very contentious people. We'll rip your fucking eyes out for saying that.
To be fair, that's almost every group in 40k can use that same quote and be true.
Yeah.
Orcs are just like perfect for it, though. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
If the orcs aren't fighting somebody else, they're fighting each other.
But yeah, like, reading through Farsight has been one of the easiest things to do, because, like, the Tau Empire characters, when you really get down to it, they're not that deep. They're as deep as puddles.
The whole thing is, during Fire Warriors era, they were clearly, these are the good guys. These are basically Star Trek people.
Yeah,
and everybody said, we don't like good guys.
They're boring. They're the unquestionable anime good guys. What the fuck? They're peace-loving bitches. Screw them. Give us the grimdark.
And so GW said, okay, fine, we'll make them villains. And it's like, we still hate the Tau. It's like,
we can't.
What do you want?
As an Ultramarine player, I fully understand the hate that Tau gets. Like, I sympathize with Tau players, and then the Tau players say, shut the fuck up, Blueberry. Stupid ass Codex. And I go, you're fish people, shut the fuck up.
Fish people with hooves, nothing you make sense.
And then we both get made fun of by the greater community as a whole. I did a full fucking stream of me just ranting about how, yeah, you make fun of the Ultramarines, but look at all you. I that was a very tired Friday.
I was about to say, the orcs are the only ones where it's just like, yeah.
You can't really say anything nasty. You can't really, like, make fun of the orcs that much. The best you can do is, like, make a personal attack that maybe some orc players are sweaty, but to this day I have not met a sweaty orc player.
Like, occasionally you'll get the one who does wah too many times or gets way too into saying it.
I remember that our local hobby shop here, they would always want someone to scream wah for, like, pictures and shit, and I was the loudest person in the room. So they would always say, announcer, You gotta do the thing. It's Tuesday. What day is it?
I'm just picturing a sad your character just doing the sad little wah.
And then everybody going, yay! No, I was happy to do it every time.
I know. Everybody's always happy to do it. It's 'cause
Yeah.
you get
It's really fun. But yeah, like, what do you think of Farsight after everything I have just shared with you?
Yeah, I'll agree. He is the golden retriever himbo.
Yeah, just my
I don't see the him. I get where the himbo comes from. I wouldn't say he's a himbo, but yeah, no, I get it. I understand where that came from. It's like, yeah, I'll agree.
My wife pointed out, like, there was a million other things he could have done. Why'd he choose this one? And, like, I tried to rationalize it out, but she's just like, that's stupid.
40K.
I'm like, it's 40K, what do you want? And she just responds with, orcs make better decisions than fucking Farsight does.
Fair, an orc will never. To be fair, orcs very rarely will stab you in the back. They'll just stab you in the face and laugh while doing it.
Well, no. Snickrot will stab you in the back because he's a very sneaky boy.
Fair enough there. But then again, you know Snickrot's gonna do it.
Yeah.
So you're not really mad when he does it. It's like, ah, damn it, he stabbed me in the back.
But yeah, like, any other questions that you have that I can answer, or?
The thing is, I kind of chose the easy one because I'm like, okay, because me and you would very easily start rambling on other stuff.
Oh, you mean like how we did?
Yes, but instead of being 7:30 my time, it would probably be closer to 10.
Oh, that's fair.
Time.
It's 8:30
We
my
could start
time.
Yeah, because we could very easily have started talking about the Necrons, and it's like, oh god.
Oh
They're
god,
not
the
shutting
themes and messages around Necrons as of late. Holy shit.
It's like, listen, when they've got a literal Don Quixote character, we don't have to.
Attack
Like-
those solar wind farms, men! What? The Nec... Where's my house guest? I really liked them. They had a great conversation. The Lich Guard. Oh, they went home. In reality, they just jettisoned the poor fuck out into space.
I don't even think he jettisons them. I think he just stabs them and just hides their bodies somewhere, usually.
I remember reading, like, they jettisoned the poor fucker out into space.
I think, probably for... I know he's done that a couple times, but most of the time he just, like, takes people out and just, like, hides the body or just disintegrates them. The fact that he just kicked him out into an airlock, I'm like, I don't even feel like wasting a weapon on you.
Well, like, it was the easiest way to clean up the body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. But yeah, like, there's tons of stuff that, like, I want to bring people that are interested or have questions about 40K when they're already into it and answer these questions about, like, the fluff.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, go into deep dives about them.
I just knew Farsight's the easy one because it's like, I know just enough about him because I'm like, I know he's got a big chaos sword that he uses in his armor because he can't physically pick it up anyway. That's the freakier thing about it. It does all that healing while he's in the armor.
Yeah, it's so wild, too, because he doesn't suspect the sword at all.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, it's a stupid fucking stick that I picked up. And it kills stuff real good.
And I just, every time I kill something, just,
And it's not
But-
even like the best part is it's not even a proper demon weapon. It doesn't talk to him. It's very much like a creation of the warp, but like it doesn't talk to him at all.
To be fair, that conversation goes back to there is the whole coin flip of every version of the Chaos God. There is that good side of them. So it wouldn't surprise me if a good version of Khorne out there, or one of the parts of Khorne that actually could be considered good, maybe made that version of the sword.
I don't know if you could call a sword that steals the life force of someone else a good thing.
The fact that it doesn't do normal demonic shit. I mean, to be fair, I think Excalibur did something weird like that too.
God, I'm lost on my Arthurian lore.
There are
Is
so
that
many
is that
versions
before
of...
or after Lancelot cucks him?
To be fair, the cucking depends on what you... Go watch the OSP episode on that. 'Cause that's a whole... That's way too long of a conversation there, too.
Oh, God, if we want to talk about Dark Angels, we can talk about that another time.
That's, how many parts are we going to talk about?
Oh, God, there's so many. There's so many characters in Dark Angels. The lightest one is Asmodai, but that's mostly because he's just an angry, stupid little fuck. My favorite quote of all time from the Dark Angels will be, Asmodai, what do you have to say for yourself? I should have killed that stupid Inquisitor when I had the chance. Asmodai's a creature, and the fact that he got a new model scares me. Fucking Ezekiel didn't get a new model. I have the Ezekiel model. Motherfucker's like metal.
Fair, I have all but the original metal Gazgul at this point.
Oh,
Just
damn.
remind me. I have the
But like
goth...
You don't have the one with the stupid pointy hat?
I have the goth war boss, not the one that's Gazgul. I have the goth one.
Ah.
Which almost looks like him, it's just the hat's not exactly right.
I guess it's
So I had the one that I think came up before they started doing the named works.
I guess it's kind of like Logan's axe really trying, or at least not succeeding in corrupting him. We've never gotten any confirmation if Logan Grimnar's axe talks to him. It is made from the remains of a cornate weapon, but as we've seen in 40k many a times, those weapons have been purified, quote unquote, and there's enough Fenrisian runes on the blade, I think it's fine.
That's like, if anything, he might be hearing, quote unquote, the voice of the Emperor.
Yeah. We need an Armored Core / Mech Warrior style game about the Tau, Titans, or Imperial Knights. If you want to make that work, I'd say Imperial Knights are your best way to go.
It would have to be Imperial Knights, Tau mechs. Eldar's mechs are just basically...
Yeah.
They do fucky shit.
Lots of fucky shit. Boil it in holy water, that takes care of all the evil on the weapon, right?
Maybe.
No, hooligan, that gets cum stains out of holy robes.
With abridged?
If the afterlife's a thing, I'm going to hell. I am a spicy fuck. And I do not apologize for my spiciness. Oh, God.
I'd say, I would jokingly say, the VTubers bringing the worst out in them, and it's just like,
Nah, dude, this is a Tuesday.
Before. I know. That's what I say. It's like,
Damn it, the Catholics survived in 40k. It truly is the worst timeline.
And what do you think the Ecclesiarch is?
Dude, what the fuck? We got warrior nuns!
No, they're called fish speakers. Ugh.
Oh, I nearly just spit take.
God,
Holy shit.
that's a whole thing we could... That's another fun little conversation we could have, is me talking about Dune and all the shit that influenced 40k in Dune.
No, there's a lot of stuff that influenced 40k, not just Dune.
Most of the Imperium's or like base lore is basically just...
Oh, it is.
It's like, it almost feels like I wonder if the original intention of the Emperor before all the other fucky-wucky shit happened was to do something like that.
Man, I wonder if this bad thing that happened was because of some other bad thing that happened.
Well, because the whole thing of Leto is, I'm going to be the most evil person in the galaxy. And basically make humanity hate me to the point where basically there will be this great scattering where humanity will go out and seed like so many planets that there's no way we will die out. And then in like 1,000 years, everybody will think I'm a hero all of a sudden for doing that. It's like, I could see Big E doing something stupid like that.
Pretty sure Halo is heavily influenced by Warhammer. Halo does have some Warhammer in it. It also has a lot of Starship Troopers and...
No, it's Marathon. It's even worse.
Oh, yeah, no, it has... Marathon is the main thing.
It's dumbed down Marathon, because, oh my god.
How dare you say that Halo is dumbed down Marathon? Halo is extremely stupid Marathon. Don't downplay how stupid Halo is compared to Marathon.
Listen, Marathon... Watching Malkador Gaming's review of Marathon 2 or 3, whichever one had all the different timelines, I'm like...
that would be Infinity.
Yeah, the third one.
Marathon Infinity.
It's just my brain started hurting by the time he started explaining. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a chart that shows the timelines, and it's like, what?
You're fucking dying is the point of the game. You're melting down. Your brain is having an aneurysm, and these are your final gasps.
It's three different things are happening. That's part of it. There's two different AIs that are becoming one AI, but are also still two separate AIs. While there's a third AI going, yes, evil shit. and then somehow it turns into, oh yeah, everybody becomes energy beams. Also, you're somehow this hero that has existed for, like, since before humanity was a thing and is now, like, going to become some sort of energy being. And it's like, what?
I am the sword of Damocles, don't you know?
Mm-hmm.
Chat, you ever want to go down a rabbit hole? That is one of the rabbit holes. How Marathon and Halo are connected.
Because originally it was supposed to be a Marathon game.
Yep. And then a
Halo's like,
9-month development cycle.
And then Microsoft came in and said, but we want a first-person shooter.
Well, it's a bit more than that. I
know.
Like...
It's the easiest way to sum up that whole story.
Yeah. I thought the hero of Marathon was the ship of Theseus.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it pretty much is. How much original wood do you have to remove before it's not the ship of Theseus anymore?
Here's the best part, because Marathon isn't even the first game in the Marathon series.
What? Oh, is it Myth? Is it Myth?
It's not Myth. It's the one where you're going into that Mayan temple to try and stop an evil
fuck that game.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch! I forgot about it.
That one, Something Into Darkness or whatever it is, that one is a prequel to Marathon. Because there's reference to it in Marathon.
Something, Nazis awakening, Aztec god, something. Something, ship of Theseus.
Pretty much. Yeah. Like I said, Malkador's video, which is still like has nowhere near close.
Gaming. I love
Mandalore Gaming. His hour-long video on Marathon Infinite. It's just like he's like, this doesn't even cover like all the weird side timelines and all that other shit. This covers the basics.
So kind of like how Wolfenstein is a prequel to Doom. Yeah, it's the same kind of thinking, but with actual evidence.
To be fair, that has legit evidence where it's like, oh yeah, here's a family tree of Doom guy.
Why is the Wolfenstein guy there? What is Dick doing on the family tree?
To be fair, we could also jokingly talk about how, what was that poker game that Telltale made?
With all the fucking Steam characters from Valve.
Well, it was Valve. Well, it was a Valve character, but there was always like a couple of other characters.
Yeah, there was
the one that had
the
one that had Ash Williams and Brock Sampson.
Yeah,
where they basically said, "Oh yeah, when Ash went back in time, it's like he's Brock's like super far great grandfather, and I'm like, huh,
What?
that actually makes sense.
And then Sam and Max will just make a comment off in the corner.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh god, there's so many like weird like tangent series we could go on talking about because it's like, wait, what?
yeah. But thanks for coming on tonight here, Nami.
You're very welcome.
I hope that this was educational, and I hope
To be
this
fair,
helps.
it's encouraging me to get the Farsight model one of these days.
He is a beautiful model. Oh my god, one of the best redesigned models in 40k in my opinion.
I have a very long list of models, and he is one of them. He's higher up on that list.
Yeah, no, like I liked his original model, but like it was the annoying part of it's fine cast and it's posed in such a way that if a stiff breeze hits it, it'll break.
To be fair, it's like a lot of older models, because then again, we'll look at original Bellacore, and then we look at Swolacore.
Yeah, Swolacore. But yeah, like his new model, I love it. It's very nice, and seeing like their version of like a cherry blossom under him, that just made it all the sweeter. I love that.
Yeah, like I said, he's on my list. He's on my list. Trust me, I have a very long list, and that's a fun other conversation we could have. Of like, what's your dream if you had like unlimited money?
Unlimited money and GW's my bitch. For starters, fucking give back the Necron characters with new models.
We already have not Tracen. We already have Orican.
Yeah.
Technically, we have Orican. We don't have like an official Orican yet.
Give me Trazen.
Trazen either needs to be just a recreation of him sitting on his throne doing the sassy lookout that he does in all his pictures now.
And then after the Necrons get their new models, Astral Vect on his fucking yacht. I don't care.
Honestly, I feel like we're gonna get him soon, because it's like he's been how long without a new model?
He didn't get his model was discontinued in the 90s.
Yeah. Either they need to do something with him, or they need to just finally say, "Oh yeah." Either that, or they just need to say, "Oh yeah, he's dead now." To be fair, that could actually be the way they could bring the Khan back.
The Khan comes back with a Vect behind him.
Actually, what I'm picturing is it's just more. We see Vec's barge and Vec's barge, and all of a sudden, instead of seeing Vec, it's just Khan sitting in his throne instead. It's just like, how the fuck did you get there? It's like
sunglasses on him. He's got like one Drukari girl, one Eldar girl, and a Harlequin girl like sitting on his lap, and he's just like, yes.
No explanation. It's just like, I won. What?
But yeah,
I mean, we know what's gonna happen is eventually Lorgar's gonna. We know how they're gonna bring back Corvus. It's like Lorgar's just gonna be somewhere in the warp, and all of a sudden he just sees a raven land on near him, and he's like, "Oh no,
not again!"
Because I'm pretty sure what's gonna happen is he's gonna come flying out of the warp, and all of a sudden there's just gonna be a cloud of freaking ravens flying behind him, and it's like, oh, there's Corvus.
But yeah, chat, thank you so much for coming tonight. Please, if you can, go follow Nami the Demon on Twitch, or if you're a little bit more of a spicy individual, they have a OF that you can join too.
It's we call it Blue Twitch. It's Fansly.
Yeah, you can join
almost
that.
everything. Yeah, almost everything is gonna be Nami the Queen, Nami the Queen, or Nami the Queen DA. Twitch is the only funny one. Because I refuse to fix it at this point because I think it's funny. It's Nami the Queen. I'm missing the U in Queen.
Please give me a spit roasting of Lorgar between Gulliman and Corvus. Corvus and Gulliman doing like the man grasping arms thing with fucking Lorgar's head in the middle. But yeah, chat, thank you so much for coming and enjoying this little fun diatribe as well as shitpost about Farsight, the shonen protagonist.
We do this again sometime.
Yes. You just come up with a topic and I'll research it.
Alright.
But first I have to talk to Laz about, like, so you really want to do Earth? As I unfold the scroll as it rolls
That's
out
pretty
of my
much, I'm
room.
just going to be slowly peeking in like, this is going to be chaos.
Oh boy! I love the arc where Jabba the Hutt exists in the Underhive.
But also is still somehow a human.
Oh god, I can't go back to Outcast Dead, dude. I can't read that book again. It's a fucking fever dream. Oh god.
They gave you what should be a simple answer of, oh yeah, it's basically just human history. But then Mad Max happens, and then Emps comes out and goes, I can fix it.
We went from Star Trek to Mad Max to Golden Boy to fucking Coruscant.
I was about to say, yeah, we'll basically say Star Trek, Mad Max. To be fair, it was already kind of Coruscant. It's just, it was like hellscaped, and then you rebuilt it into Coruscant again.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of implied it was like a super city like that before, although the last church kind of doesn't confirm that. It's weird.
But yeah, chat, you have a fantastic night, and I will talk to you all on Wednesday.